Alright everybody, welcome to Brian's Art of Creation, and today what I'm sharing with you guys is special bonus content. My new Patreon page is launched. I'm going to be teaching a lot more tutorials, a lot more how-to. It's not going to be just sculpture. It's going to be a lot of the mindset and creativity in general, so it's not something that you just have to apply to this. If you love drawing, you love coloring, you love painting, there's techniques in there that'll help you. However, this is my own personal medium, and that is what I will be sharing. But you can take the techniques and things that we learn and apply it anywhere. So for the beginner level, everything is already, the ball has already started rolling, and I've started putting new videos up. However, this is bonus content so that I can share some free stuff with everybody here that's following me, as well as, you know, within the community of Patreon and my followers and subscribers there. So this basic level of what I'm going to be sharing with you guys today is the beginners and family level. And this option I wanted to create so that people that are just starting out, or people that just kind of want to do it a little bit as a hobby, kind of spend a few minutes or like a half hour a day or something like that, or a week, just to kind of play around, de-stress, and just have fun, as well as make it something that's simple that kids can enjoy and you guys can do as family time, and something that's creative together. If you are interested in digging deeper, I also have another tier that's a little bit higher that I dive into, you know, getting more into sculpture, creating characters, doing likenesses and human features, as well as how to capture expressions and, you know, really bringing your sculptures to life and creating characters, molding and casting, all of that type of stuff. However, for this one, this is a basics, and it's really about the process and just having fun and enjoying it. I don't want you guys thinking I got to create something and it's got to turn into a masterpiece. I've seen so many artists do that. They get started and they get frustrated and never finish because they think or they don't continue because they think every single thing they start has to be a finished masterpiece. I want you guys to focus on just enjoying the process. So if you spend a half hour, an hour working on something and you hate it at the end of it, you're not really happy with it, that's okay. You know, that's a sketch, that's a bad idea you got out of your head. I've had a million of those. And I want you guys to really get into it and just enjoy the process of actually creating over, you know, the fact that this has to be a final masterpiece I can show everybody. So I want you guys to have fun with this. I hope you guys learn a lot. The topic I'm going to start out for this free one is I'm going to be sculpting a pleosarus. I'm going to make it fun. I've never sculpted it before, but we're going to see how it is. I'm going to come up with the simplest possible way. The reason behind that is because this is going to be a family thing that I don't want you guys getting frustrated because it's not looking the way you want to. I don't want to start out with doing a portrait of, you know, some famous person and then you guys, it not turning out right and you guys getting super frustrated. The idea of these family ones is fun and enjoyable, and then quick and easy so that you guys can get started. Now, if you just want to block it in, I'm going to show you guys how to block it in and do the basics, and you guys can either leave it like that, or if you want to get ambitious and go even farther in, you guys are welcome to do that as well. But this will be the building blocks that'll get you started, and it'll be something that you guys can have fun, and you'll have a finished piece at the end of it depending on what you want to do with it. The pleosarus I'm doing because one of my new future little heroes, Riker, loves dinosaurs, and this is his current favorite dinosaur. So I want to make this super cool, super interesting, super easy and fun so that him and his family can create it and he can have a blast with it. And we're going to get started here in a minute. Other thing to talk about is, depending on what you want to use, I'm going to be using some basic tools. I got a piece of wood here for a base just to sculpt on. I got the coated ones and just chopped it up just so that because I'm going to be using water-based clay, just so it doesn't soak into the wood and start to rot the wood. However, there's a few different things you guys can use. If you guys want to go to the craft store and use, you can either use modeling clay, which will be an oil-based clay. The thing with that is it never dries out, so it would always be sort of soft and tangible. You'll always be able to rework it. You'll be able to take it apart and reuse it. You guys can use super sculpting. The plus side of that is it's soft until you bake it. So if you wanted to keep the piece, you can toss it in the oven and it'll get hard and it'll be a statue for you guys. The other option is what I'm using, water-based clay. The downside is that it does, up and downside, is that it does dry out, so you will have to cover it if you want to keep working on it so that it doesn't dry out while you're doing it. If it does dry out, you can still re-wet it though. The other thing is you can actually let it air dry and it'll become a solid piece. However, unless you actually get it fired properly, it will dry and it'll be solid and you can actually hang it up. And I do still have some pieces that I let dry, that I let just air dry and are good and solid. However, they are still extremely fragile. So that in mind, think about, when you go out and you're picking up supplies, just keep those things in mind. There's basically a modeling clay or an oil-based clay that will never dry out. You can reuse over and over again. Super sculpting you can bake. Water-based clay will dry out, but you can hold on to it. It's just going to be a little bit more fragile of a piece. So with all that in mind, I'm going to get my stuff out, zoom in, and we're going to have some fun. So I got some clay out, and I might think these. I'm going to start out with a couple just regular wooden tools. I like the flat edge here. This is just a popsicle stick cut at an angle, and this is basically a wooden tool. The little scoop on the end, knife on one end. But we're going to start out, and we're going to do basic building blocks here, guys. Starting out, just rolling out I guess a ball of clay. Pleosarus kind of has, if you guys don't know what it is, basically, I guess I'm sure some people will kind of come back at me for this, but I'm going to describe it as basically Nessie, Loch Ness Monster look. Kind of an oval body. I'm actually going to kind of push it in here. That way it's kind of adhered to the board and it's not moving around. And basically long neck, longer snout, a shorter tail, kind of has fins similar, like basically water fins, similar to like turtles and such. Shorter tail, longer kind of oval body. But basically I'm just going to start out with a real simple oval. And now that I just said a long neck, I'm not sure how well or how long I'm going to make it or how well it's going to do just by itself. If you're usually doing like extensions or like arms or legs or something long, you usually want to use like a wire or like an armature or something in there so that it actually hold up. However, I'm going to see what I can do without it. I'll see what I can do with turning the neck or something. I don't know. We'll get there when we get there. So, what I'm going to do now is, after I've got this, pull out another tool. This is just a scraper tool, and basically that just helps me shape it and even out the clay. But look at that, starting out with basically an egg shape. What I'm going to do next is, they do have a they have a tail. It isn't super long though. So all I'm doing is kind of rolling it out into a worm, but I'm going to make sure that one side is pointed, so you kind of have that V shape in your hands, just a little bit tighter. And we're going to have a tail. Just going to press it on there. If your clay starts drying up, or you're using clay that you already used before, you might want to wet it down, or wet it down where you're connecting it to, that way it sticks better. If you're doing water-based clay and you decide to save this, you also want to make sure that whenever you connect any of these areas that you really blend them together. That way, when it dries, it doesn't break off. All right, that and a tail. All right, moving on. We're going to do a real quick throw in some fins. What I'm going to do with that, I'll get these out of the way. What we do with that is the same process as I did with the tail. Kind of roll it up towards the ball and then go into kind of a spike type of shape, similar to what I did with the tail. Go with kind of a worm that kind of tapers down. And after I have that shape, what I'm going to do is just flatten it. All right, and what that's going to do is it's going to give you a kind of fin type of shape. I'm gonna make it a little bit thicker towards the top. Re-roll this, but kind of, let's try it again. We're gonna roll it into a ball and then kind of taper the bottom, so it's like that, and flatten it. And I'm gonna use that as fins. I'm going to get the basic shape before I actually connect them and try to do all of them. Do the same thing, flatten it. That way you kind of have 4. Now, actually, make this one, scale this one down so it matches this one, and I'm going to make, these are going to be the 2 back ones. When I go with the front ones, I'm going to make them a little bit longer, because that's how the, at least the references that I looked at have. They have a little bit longer fins in the front. Okay. Not that big though. These I can kind of play with later, but there you go. You go a couple up here, a couple back here, and I'm going to do little worms that are going to be real short, that's going to kind of connect them to there. So what you can see here is just doing little bits right there, and then I'm going to press this into it. That'll kind of give that little bit of the leg extension before the fin. And when you're doing this, also go ahead and have fun with it. Like if you want to, don't just make it like the tail. I didn't just do it straight. Go ahead and have fun. Make these a little bit curved or going in a certain direction. Do these front ones. Make the arms a little bit thicker, and I'm actually going to kind of wave these a little bit differently, kind of almost like it's swimming. We're going to do the same thing here with this one. Have the taper go back, press it in. It'll actually give you a nice little crease and folds that'll actually work for you. And we're going to have this one go up as well, as if it's swimming. Now, we got a long neck and a head. Now, like I said before, one thing you can do, depending on what you are using the material you're using or what you want to work with, you can actually use some wire and just kind of do a few layers depending on the thickness of the wire, kind of twist it to make it a little bit stronger. And you can actually insert it here and just kind of make it go in the direction that you want to. Make sure it's long enough to where it goes through part of the body, that way it has support, and then you can pile your clay on that so that you can actually pose the head and neck. The problem that we might run into is if you get a long cylinder like this and you start putting weight on it, it's going to start weighing it down. However, I'm just having fun, and I'm not keeping, this isn't something I plan on keeping. However, it's good to know because, like I said, this is one of Riker's favorite dinosaurs at the moment, and I was thinking about doing a little hero kind of as him as one of these dinosaurs, kind of blend them together. So when I do that, I'll definitely probably be using a smaller armature inside of this, or a wire, just to kind of hold so I can pose the neck. But this one, I'm just going to have fun and learn from it. Here you can still, I'm just kind of piling up clay depending on where I want it, so that I can make the neck a little bit thicker back to where it connects to the body. Boom, boom, boom. I'm actually going to turn the head a little bit this way. And what that'll do is it's going to add a little bit of expression. That's kind of where I want to go with it anyway. But it'll also take some weight off of this section of the neck, just because it's not going straight out and having all this weight out of here. It's kind of going towards the side, so this side of the neck is actually going to help stabilize it a little bit. The other thing I didn't mention is this would also be fun if you guys just want to do a little Play-Doh fun with the kids. Or with adults. Adults like Play-Doh too. But, this is something that, you can build, have fun with, and try to create, and then destroy and try to create another one or something else. Have fun with all the different colors that you can go into with, everything like that. Alright, so next, we'll go in with the head. Now, this is going to be fun little dinosaur. Is going to kind of be towards, I'm going to say, a baby pleosarus, because again, I don't want to go too long with the neck and it just won't hold. It'll just fall over. But we're not worried about the outcome. We're worried about having fun, enjoying the process. And if I was going to go in full and do a long one, I still could. I know how I could just add a wire and fix that issue. What I'm going to do here for the head is it's kind of, honestly, it kind of has the same shape as everything I've already been building. We're just going to have that tapered fat worm look. And I'm just going to kind of place it on top of there. Kind of shape it so I know where I want it to look. And with this, I'm going to kind of go in and add just a little bit of clay underneath of it. This will kind of help, again, connect it to that neck that I just did, but I'm also going to kind of try to define a little bit of the jawbone. And I will show you guys exactly what I did in just a minute. So, something along the lines of that. And now you can go in and use either a spoon scoop type of tool, or like a drawing, like a needle tool or something like that, or even a knife tool. A lot of them will work. And actually, you can actually, starting with the eyes, you can just kind of also dig in with your finger if you want to do it that way, depending on how big you want to make them. But this tool will do the same thing. I'm kind of, let me actually zoom in, change the angle so you guys can see better and I can explain it better. Look at this guy. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to dig in and actually press up a little bit like that, and that'll create this little ridge right here that'll be part of the brow. I can actually come in and pull out a little bit, which will define a little bit of the cheekbone. And then I'm actually just roll in a little ball of clay, and you can kind of, it's a little bit too big, you can kind of place that in there as the eyeball. And they also have kind of like a, this one's looking a little bit like a snake, but it's kind of like a, they have a big mouth. You can either draw that in, have fun with it like that, or you can take some kind of knife piece, which I can't exactly find at the moment, but I'm just going to use this, and just kind of cut in right where you had it, and you can kind of bend the mouth down a little bit like that. Go in with this tool, kind of have it open a little bit if you wanted to do that. Do the same thing on this side, try to match it up. So looking at it from the top view, I'm just going to kind of place the point of where the eye is supposed to be, and looking at it from the front to make sure it's at the same level. Let's go up just a little bit, but that's good. It happened when I press in. Same thing here, dig in, press up to build up this brow ridge, press down and kind of pull out a little bit just to create a little bit of that cheekbone. And I'm gonna, this side doesn't have as much clay as it needs to, so I'm gonna kind of build up a little bit. And do another little ball of clay for the eyeball. And for basics, I mean, there you go. This is your own little pleosarus dinosaur character. And you know, you can, if you're looking at references or things like that, you can go in even deeper. You can continue to add in different folds, different textures if you want to. But again, the basics of this, or the purpose of this is just something to jump into and have fun. And once you get, and just to kind of get you to get started and get creative and start digging into that creativity that either you kept telling yourself you never had or you never tried. And this is a basic building blocks and foundation to get started to do that. Make it a little bit adding a little bit more clay here just so that it matches the other side. I'm looking at it from a top view right now. Going in, making sure that everything is kind of together and blended so that it stays together, even though I did say I'm not keeping it, but just so that you guys know what to go through and do and handle. You guys can use some wooden tools to kind of really shape out these forms. Another tool that's really good is they have lube tools like these that I have notches drilled in or Dremeled into, so that we have kind of a rake, and basically that's sanding it. It's kind of almost like sanding it down. You use different size rakes to blend the surface and to shape the forms. So you can go in with those. Something like this, which is basically the same thing, just on a bigger scale, and that'll do the same thing. That goes over big areas, and it really helps to smooth out the form. And like I said, you're gonna see it looks like a lot more of a mess, but it's actually a lot of these little dents and little notches in there will be taken out from this. And like I said, it's kind of like sandpaper. You go with the heavy grit, and then you start going down into a little bit more finer of a grit to get the piece smooth, depending on how smooth you're trying to go with it. Alright, something else here to kind of do is, there is a certain webbing that that kind of protrude from this. And I'm going to do that. Just doing little worms of clay that are good, kind of connecting this to the body, and then using various wooden tools just to kind of smooth that out. I think the front ones kind of have it as well. I'm going to do it. It looks like, let's use the bigger side, they actually connect a little bit thicker areas. I'm actually going to use a little bit thicker worms, and this is still, this area here, this little cylinder we added for the arms or connecting the fins, is still there and is still prominent. However, there are these folds of skin that connect the body to the fin. So they're kind of like thin muscles, like almost, if you look at the tendons like in your neck, especially, you know, if you look at like somebody getting really super angry and you see their neck muscles all start flexing and stuff, you see those prominent. You know, they definitely stick out. However, they're not super thick to where, I guess, they take over the shape of the neck. If that, hopefully that makes sense. So these are almost just kind of looking like string tendons that connect. They're like the flaps of the skin that kind of connect it to the body. So I'm going to play around with this a little bit and do the same thing to this side. Kind of blend things together and just see where I can take this. And again, look at some reference pictures and try to do your best to kind of come up with that. It'd definitely be great for you guys to pick out some pictures to reference, or use this. I mean, another great thing is just you guys using this as a base and seeing where you can take it. And if you're doing this with kids, man, they will come up with all kinds of creative stuff. And all kinds of things will just start popping out. They might start out trying to make a dinosaur, and then it turns out to be like a crazy wolf or a monkey. I did a little sculpting class with a friend and her son, and I was showing them how to basically, we started out with just a character. We started out with doing a basic shape and doing a shark wall plaque, which sort of turned into a dragon, which turned into, I honestly do not even know. I mean, there was all kinds of things. He was playing around with it, having fun, turning it into like a zombie shark, pulling the eye area out, and opening the mouth, adding crazy horns and teeth, and then taking them off. So use this as a jump start and get creative, have fun, make it your own. I'm hoping that these basics get you started, and they really give you that extra push and inspiration to actually just dig in and have fun with it, so that you can actually discover all that crazy imagination that you had, or that you have, hidden within you. And it's a great activity for you guys, your families, the kids. I had a couple sculpting parties where a bunch of friends got together and I showed them the basics, and these were all pretty much first time sculptors, and they did awesome. But they created so many different types of characters, because everybody has their own special taste and imagination, and all kinds of crazy things popped out. So there you guys go. This is my little baby pleosarus character. Alright, you guys, I hope you guys had a blast, and I hope you learned at least a little bit. Hopefully you guys have the motivation to go out there, have fun, get started, get creative. And I want you guys to take this and run with it. Show me what you guys create and just have fun. Again, this is all going to be up on my Patreon site. This is a bonus video for this month. There's already other content up there. You're going to have access to a lot of the older videos, but every month I'm going to be creating a new video for something along the lines of this, having fun with the family, sculpting something new, a new character, a new creature, something. It's gonna, again, simple basic building blocks, that way you guys, the family, can do it and you can enjoy it without getting too overwhelmed. And I'm also going to be uploading for the higher level of a new portrait video or a new techniques video. I'm going to try to go in and showing you guys what I really want to do. The idea is to go in and do like a likeness video, and then kind of tweak it into a character of some sort. That way I can share with you guys the different things that make likenesses come to life, and what it really matter when you're trying to capture exactly what somebody, the features of the face and everything. And then take another step and teach you guys how to do some kind of textures or horns or character traits using that portrait, so that I can kind of do a double whammy and hit both of them. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Have fun, and go out there, get creative. Let me see what you guys come up with. Have fun with it. Don't worry about the final product. Hope you guys enjoyed, please leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think. If there's any questions you guys have, please ask. I would love to help you guys out, help you find your creativity. I would love to have you guys subscribe and become part of the community that's going to be getting creative and that's on Patreon, having fun and learning. However, I do also have a lot of my content that will always be free and that will always be up on YouTube. You'll be getting shorter segments. It won't be full in-depth courses, but I'm definitely still sharing as much as I can. So let me know what you guys think. Also got motivation coming out every Monday, so check those out, and that's more of creativity and mindset and getting motivated. But let's have fun, guys. Jump in. I want to see you guys create something awesome and show me and have fun with it.